What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description and the link in the pinned comment with Weeble. I can only guarantee, guys, today and tomorrow, if you just open an account, they're going to give you a stock value between $3 and $300. But if you deposit $5 or more, they will give you a stock value between $8 and $2,000. So, EA Sports this morning puts out a series of tweets about new equipment coming to Madden 22, and this has generally been one of the most positive things EA has done as far as community reception, but today they didn't exactly have that same response. Now, let's just come out and say, as expected on these next-gen consoles, the game looks incredible. Most games on next-gen consoles look incredible, but when you look at how the community responded to this today, it's very much different in the way it has been in the past, and I'll just show this image here. I've had some people talk about on this channel. I don't fully understand how realism works in reflections in a game, but I do understand if you're trying to sell something or promote something, you probably want to pick an image that is, I guess, at least the most flattering, if you will. So a lot of people looked at this and had a hard time understanding where the bird's eye view, if you will, of the reflection of the stadium in this visor would come from. This is something that EA has had happen for years. It's always an empty stadium in the reflection. I don't know why. Some people do. You really can't see players, objects. But again, why lead with this, right? It just seems very simple to move the camera over a little bit and not catch this reflection that has even people that don't play the game not quite understanding what's going on. So, aside from this, there's also a stance that is unique now that I'd really not seen before. Now, first and foremost, I think we understand the Yard ushered in a lot of this equipment. The Yard, as I mentioned, is kind of a pay-to-wear, if you will, system where you kind of buy the clothing that you want and then wear that. And this kind of ushered in the masks, the mouthpieces, things that have been asked for years. Now, in this image, there's a lot of concern about what they're actually showing because it really isn't that clear. And I guess that kind of falls back on people genuinely not caring, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But to me, I believe that this is showing there's variations in sock length, which has kind of been in the game before, but you can see there's different players wearing different socks, and this is something that a lot of players have kind of wanted to have in the game as far as sock variants. I don't really see anything different in terms of cleats, but, I could be wrong. It's such a odd, detailed picture to show, and I guess that's part of it. Number one, these are quintessentially the most finite details you could have. But when you play the game, you really don't see these things stand out all that much. This helmet and this visor, yes, I'm glad they're in the game. Yes, they are new in the game, but in terms of adding something to the game that's going to make you want to play it, does it really do that? I say no. And that was part of the argument this morning. The other part of the argument, which is really interesting to me, is if you have the NFL agreement, right? You're the only one that can use the teams and the players. Is it not second nature that you would have all of these things in the game without any type of fanfare or any type of marketing? Is it not expected that you would have the correct visors for players, the correct face masks and helmet styles? It just seems like it's something very strange to bring up. And as I said, this is something generally that used to be met with a lot of fanfare. The chin straps, the way the visors were colored, the way the face masks were modified. We used to see a lot of this in the NFL, and EA would really kind of latch on to that. And the only thing we would really be able to fall back on them not having is the player-specific equipment. And that was kind of one thing that went hand in hand with the tattoos, where, people understood, but also, kind of wanted to have that little bit of realism, right? If you're going to sell us mouthpieces, great. Sell us mouthpieces, okay? They're in the game. But are they in the game, right, okay? Listen, a lot of people want the mouthpiece to hang off the helmet mid-play. A lot of people want the mouthpiece to come out, not go through the player's face. To me, that stuff never really matters, right? To me, when you look at the game and you don't have, variations in uniforms, you have every player with a tucked-in uniform, right? When some players don't tuck them, even though they should. These aren't even things that I want in the game. But when you look at what they're selling, they make it a talking point. When you have people looking at these pictures and they can't distinguish what's actually being changed, I think that really showcases part of the problem. On one side of the community, you've got a whole group that champions any change that's made in this game. And then on the other side, you've got a group that says, hey, when I'm playing the game, none of this matters, right? I can't zoom in during the game and look at it this way. And while my expectations are that the game will look like it's built on an next-gen console, while the expectation is whether I've got a 40, 50, or 70-inch, 80-inch TV, that the game is going to look realistic because I'm playing on a next-gen console, why are you selling this to me? Much less selling it to me when the reflections in the game aren't even done properly. And this is one thing I've noticed with EA. I'm going to cover it later on because one of my viewers actually, I guess in a way, kind of trolled EA. But the way EA has started responding to, I guess, trolling is a little bit interesting. For example, if you go and actually look at this tweet from earlier this morning, one of my followers actually said, in response to this, hate to say it, but I'm excited for Madden 22. Now, of all the things they could have responded to, EA responds with, we don't hate it. The very next response is, well, you do make the same game every year. They're really in a no-win situation. And part of me hates that because anything they come out with now, people are going to say, oh, it's nitpicking. Oh, you're being negative. Oh, they can't do anything right. But then there's another part of me that knows that they've earned all this. You know, this community reception to everything is based on years and years and years of really overselling and underdelivering. You know, we were told by Rex Dixon, you cannot sell game improvements, right? The reason Madden struggled with these 3-year plans is because you couldn't sell, we made it better, right? Then why are you honestly selling us that you're putting things in the game that should be an expectation? It is not when the point as a community, we get to accept them selling us things that we should expect, part of the problem as to why the game doesn't get any better. We shouldn't allow them to sell us visors, face masks, and helmets. Sell us the graphical improvements if you want. But don't sell us things that, by all accounts, replicate the players that should be in the game that they pay to have a license for. That's just a little bit more than I think people are willing to take right now. We want a better game. We accept that the graphics are great. They should be. We'll accept that. But stop selling us things that should already be kind of standard in your product. Because to me, all that means is you're championing doing these things independently when they should be done from the start. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. You know I will be back in the week with more commentary.